Max couldn't remember the last time she had seen her mother looking this serene. Since Max's parents split last year, there had been times when she had wondered if her mother would ever really find herself again. But she had, against all odds, pulling herself up by her bootstraps in every sense of the word. Now she had her own business, a cupcake shop that seemed to be growing more popular by the day, and Mick was everything Max's father hadn't been. Attentive, loving, supportive of Cece's dreams. Just seeing her mom and Mick together told Max everything she needed to know about her mother's happiness, and she couldn't thank him enough for bringing the romance back into her life, even if Max herself wasn't currently in the most joyful of romantic situations. Spurred on by the alcohol, Max wandered forward, swaying a little in her shoes. Why the hell did I wear heels anyway? She found herself making her way over to her mother, drawn to the promise of comfort and unconditional love like a moth to a flame. Cece looked up when she approached their table, sinking into the chair next to her. "Hey, honey," she said, reaching for Max's hand and giving it a squeeze. "Are you all right?" Mick had turned to chat with the person on his other side, leaving Max the sole focus of her mother's attention. Max raised her eyebrows, realizing she hadn't responded. "Oh, yeah, I'm fine." She smiled wanly, pressing her lips together. She would not ruin her mother's proud and joyous day with whining. "Yeah?" Her mom eyed her with a familiar, scrutinizing look that told Max there would be no keeping secrets from her. "You look a little—" She frowned, not finishing the thought. "I was just thinking about everything that's happened," Max admitted, taking another sip from her wine glass. "It's been a tough run. For all of us, I mean." "It really has," Cece agreed, exhaling as she followed Max's tipsy gaze around the room. "I'm so sorry, honey." At one of the nearby tables were Aunt Anna, the youngest of her mother's siblings, and her boyfriend, Beckett. Anna was a blast, a beacon of light and laughter that Max would normally drift to immediately at a social event like this, and she had always been the most spirited of the three siblings. Recent events in her life, specifically a prolonged battle with breast cancer, had seemed to have given her even more enthusiasm than she'd had before, and Beckett was just the cherry on top of the cake. They seemed to be doing great, and she got along brilliantly with his family. Dancing on the other side of the room were Aunt Stephanie and Ethan. Steph's world had been most recently turned on its head. First with the news of her husband's death, which had shaken their whole family, including Max, to the core. Uncle Paul had been a rare breed, a genuinely good guy, in some ways more of a father to Max than her own dad had been. The revelation that he had been having secret meetings with a stunning mystery blonde had sent them all reeling again, even 2 years after his death. Ethan, a police officer, had been there to help them chase the truth, even if that truth had been more unthinkable than a secret love affair. In the end, Uncle Paul had been faithful until the day he was murdered. His own best friend and coworker had killed him after Paul had caught him stealing company funds. Max couldn't even comprehend the tumult that had caused her aunt, even with Paul's murderer now behind bars. She had been shot, almost drowned, all in the name of finding the truth. But Ethan had always been there for her. He'd proven a second love, and as she watched them dance, foreheads touching intimately, Max felt a swell of happiness for her aunt. Her mother and aunts were all doing splendidly, and she was happy for them. But seeing them with their new loves only felt like a reminder of everything Max herself had lost. Had it really only been 4 months since she had reunited with Tyler? It wasn't like either of them had been expecting to find each other again. They had known each other back in high school, and the attraction had been both real and mutual, but nothing had come of it. Until she found herself wandering into a bar on her mission to find out if Uncle Paul had been cheating on Aunt Steph. Who would end up serving her that night but Tyler Martin? Tyler had gone on to become a professionally trained sommelier before returning home and coming to help at his father's bar. The chemistry between the two of them had been strong and immediate, and before Max had even known what was happening, she was falling headfirst into a new relationship, this one